Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Frontline Fridays, brought to you by YOOBIC. I'm Ron Thurston, your host and the voice behind the Retail in America podcast, and the co-founder of an upcoming new platform for retail recruiting called Aussie. Some of you may know me from my book, Retail Pride. Certainly Paula does. We're going to talk about this, or have maybe caught me at workshops or speaking events. And on this podcast, and this is episode 2, we sit down with leaders who are inspiring excellence in their frontline teams and learn what they do differently. Today, we're going to dive into the retail sector, specifically with an expert in intimate apparel, Paula Angelucci, the District Director at Adore Me. And I would love to share that last year, Paula won District Manager of the Year through a program that YOOBIC uses called Frontline Excellence Awards. And I had the opportunity to interview Paula live for that show as well to celebrate her. So it's really a joy to have her back. I should say back on a YOOBIC platform, but more importantly, just back to share what she does so well. So Paula, it's fantastic to have you. Welcome to Frontline Fridays.
Hi, Ron. Thank you so much. Super excited to be here with you. Of course, anytime I get to have a live conversation with you, I love. It's no secret. I listen to your podcasts and they are super inspiring and I share them with my teams. So I feel like you're with me often, but being here with you live is certainly a great experience.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you're here. And yeah, I think we are mutual fans of each other, which will make this conversation, even more exciting. So I know you do incredible work, but I really want to start with a conversation about what it's like to be in a store at Adore Me, because you're not a giant national brand. So there may be people who don't know exactly what Adore Me is and day in the life of one of your stores. So can you give us a little bit of insight there?
Sure. Adore Me is an amazing, amazing company. We are lingerie company. We are, really one of our pillars is being inclusive and really being inclusive with all sizes. So we have a bra for everyone. A day in the life of the store. There's really no 2 days are the same, but really one theme that really resonates in any Adore Me store is that we're all filled with purpose, which is really amazing. You'll help women all day long, maybe somebody who has had a mastectomy or any kind of augmentation. Maybe she's going out on her first Bumble date. And so we get to work with these women or anyone and make them feel good. We treat everyone with respect and dignity and we want to make you feel confident and beautiful. And, we are all beautiful, but, sometimes we just don't think that. So I think spending a day in a Adore Me store you really have great purpose. I guarantee you'll come home with a story about one of your customers. I know I do. There's not a day that I'm in the stores that I don't have a story and someone getting married, someone going on a trip. And that's really from the connection piece. You are up close and personal with your customers in the fitting rooms. And so, they're telling you their story and they trust you. And you're explaining how their bra should fit or how the lingerie should fit, how the straps should be. And so, it's an intimate environment. But it really fills you with purpose. It's a different experience than, maybe, and no retail is bad. I'm not saying that, but, when you're helping someone, with that piece of that product that is so close to their skin, there's something special about that.
Yeah, it really is. Intimate apparel and jewelry and things that are require important conversations or also signify important moments in someone's life are the core of great retail. And you think about pride, even just listening to you, it gives me such pride to know that you are serving a customer with a very specific purpose, maybe need, maybe just having an emotional day. And it's so powerful to think about what you're creating there. And just give us a little bit more insight onto the brand. So owned by Victoria's Secret, as of recently, was a major player in the D2C intimate apparel market. Give us a little bit more insight into the brand.
Adore Me, we're about 13 years old now. We have a very, very solid hold online, and a solid hold in our retail stores. The environment in all of our stores, the culture is just really inspiring. But Adore Me, we are growing at leaps and bounds. We have, our elite program. We have our try on at home program. We brought on the daily look. We just continue to grow into, different markets. We have a great initiative around sustainability. And that's across, our online, how we deal with manufacturers as well as in stores. So, really just a great, company to work for. Everyone is as passionate about their job as I am. Everyone. It's
Wow.
something I've never experienced. I mean, and I've worked in great places, but I guess because we're a startup, we still call ourselves a startup, even though, we're 13 years old. But everyone is so passionate about doing their job at a high level and helping others, reaching out their hand and help others. We're doing this really cool AI tool to help men purchase for the holiday. And we always say we're a tech company that sells lingerie. Our tech is like second to none. It's amazing. We have a great, great tech team. They're in Bucharest. And so I got to participate in the creation of this AI tool, which is super cool because of the experiences we have with men shopping in our stores. And I always say, I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but I always see when a guy, walks in our store, around Valentine's Day or really any holiday or any man, but I see $100. I'm like, that's $100 sale at least. So it was really cool. But, the company is filled with passionate people who want to, pioneer and go above and beyond. And no idea is a bad idea. And we can be so agile with things. I can, every experience I have or interaction, I try to take something through, from it. And I'm like, oh, I was at this. This is a great example. I was having my car worked on, and the place where the dealership, up on the ceiling, they had customer comments. They were flashing customer comments, and we're so blessed. Our customers, when you help somebody with a product, like, and something that intimate, they want to talk about it. So I brought it to my team, and I'm like, we have screens in our stores. We were like state of the art with that. And I'm like, man, could we get some of these customer comments up on our screens? Boom, done.
Wow.
I mean, that's how quickly we can do things. And the tech team and the screen teams, they just bring it to life. And so that's what's so cool about Adore Me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. I can't imagine a time when you're in a store and you're seeing those comments, and it brings such, again, kind of pride to the team. Certainly the customer, but I actually think it's more for your team, because you're seeing language used and responses to surveys and things that are, no one completes a survey unless they have something really incredible to say or something pretty negative to say. And you need both, because we all want to learn how we do our business. But I didn't know that. So that's such an interesting story. And it speaks, a lot to just culture. And, that is a word that is used, in many different forums. But how would you describe and how do you create that culture in your stores? One thing I do know about you, because I see you and I follow you, is you spend a lot of time in stores, nights, weekends, selling side by side, working side by side. When you think about the front line as a leader of the front line, you are such an incredible expression of what that means. And I know you're a customer of YOOBIC, and that's not why we're here to talk about that, but you also have tools to help create this culture that's so unique to you and Adore Me. So give us some insight on that.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to travel as soon as we're done here. I'm going to spend the weekend in some stores for sure. I mean, the stores is where the magic happens for sure. And I think really when I go into stores, I try to talk less and listen more. I try to ask a lot of questions. One of my favorite mantras is really staying curious. I always say if I walk into a store and every panty's on the floor, if I walk in and I say, "Oh my God, what happened here?" I'm not going to get a great response. But if I walk in and I say, "Hey, tell me a little bit about today," and they might say, "Oh my God, Paula, we had a bus of people, came in and we already made goal." And I'm like, "All right, let's go. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Let's pick the panties up." So, I think staying curious, and listening. I like to, if I can, talk to everyone who's in the store when I'm there, because there's so much precious information that you can get from people. Everyone has great ideas. We hire such great talent. We have the best in the industry, I say. And so I want to hear, listen, I want to listen. I want to hear what they have to say. And I do want to help learn, teach. Originally, when I went to school, I wanted to be a teacher. So teaching is definitely a passion of mine. And I think, bras it's a beautiful business, but it's certainly they have a function. And so, explaining to teams features, benefits, trying them on, that is a big initiative of ours. Try every product on so you can talk about it. And so when I'm in stores, I'm like, "Did you try the new showroom on? What was your favorite? Tell me about it. What are your customers like? What are they saying? How's the fitting room experience? Who do you have in there?" I'm just always asking questions, so that we can get better. And so I think that is really a big part of, certainly I have an agenda when I go into a store. I have things that I want to, look at from an operational standpoint, of course, and visual. But I think for me, my lens is around the customer experience, because at the end of the day, that's why they're coming in our doors. They're coming in for that experience, that one-on-one, that luxury. We call it the elite in-store experience. And we say that no woman pops up out of bed and says, "Oh, let me go get naked in front of strangers and try bras on." So, so we want to make sure that we are, really having a genuine connection, and we're listening to her, and we're inspiring her, and we're saying, "Hey, when was the last time you were measured? Let me just check you out. Come on in the fitting room. You got to try this new bra. It is unbelievable." I mean, Dormy has incredible products, hands down, just incredible products. So, that's really the thought process. So when I'm in stores, I'm listening, I'm inserting myself in the sale, I'm obviously looking at visual, and I want to help really build that culture, and of course drive great business.
Right. Which it does. They
Mm-hmm.
go hand in hand. It's time well spent almost
Mm-hmm.
always too.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what that culture that you're building through curiosity then is also creating programs and initiatives and tools and resources and making sure that all of it's available to all. I remember doing your uh, we did a retail pride like book club, and I spoke to
Mm-hmm.
your team. It's been a couple of years now, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember the age. Thank you. The age range was really wide, which
Mm-hmm.
is incredible. And I think that inherently then requires listening and providing tools and resources that are not just always one size fits all. And
Mm-hmm.
whether it's YOOBIC, whether it's other things that you're creating, like how are you building that sense of community?
So it's no secret that myself and my team, we love YOOBIC. There's no secret there. What is so very, there's so many things that we can achieve with the YOOBIC platform, but when we think of sense of community, we have a news feed, an internal news feed. I think when you're building a community, and really creating a great culture, it's around recognition. I love to give recognition. We recently came up with these great little cards as I travel with my operation partners from Paris, and it's you did it right, and you get an extra 10% discount from our visit. And so we have YOOBIC also has a chat. And so everyone can have a voice, and the chat, it's a very safe space. There's no question that's a bad question. There's no comment. When we get new showroom monthly, people are trying it on, they're sharing pictures, they're sharing feedback, they're saying, I sold a bra card, which is 6 bras, and you join our bra loyalty club at Adore Me. They're taking pictures of it, they're very proud, and that's everyone. So everyone can contribute on that. Hey, are these ringing up correctly? Yes, they are. You got it. It's instantaneous. we can celebrate, we can fix things. It's very fast. And I think that's what I love about YOOBIC to be our partner. And I've worked in other retail areas and they've had different platforms, but YOOBIC is fast. It's agile. We can get answers. We can share things. I think definitely one of the biggest things, like I said, is really the recognition piece. We can, if I have a great customer comment, we can share that on the news feed. We can share them on the chat. And so it's just very inclusive. And that just really goes hand in hand, with our whole company culture and our values.
Incredible. And as you've done that, and as you've created more of these resources and tools and development, kind of talk to us about career growth too, because that's, we can't talk about the front line and some of the challenges and things that the industry faces around potentially like high turnover rates and just some of the things that all of us in every brand face is, and often the feedback around why they turn is because they didn't understand what's next. What is my career path going to be in this brand? How can I get to next? And so I would imagine, knowing you, that you are very intentional about having these conversations about career pathing. So can you share some of that?
Yep. I think that, one of the great tools, that we leverage and maximize with YOOBIC is we have it, it allows us to have great learning paths. And so we can create these great lessons, onboarding and lessons on how to sell, all kinds of, career development. We've had leadership modules on there, being an intentional leader, being a change agent. We can really share these modules on YOOBIC. So, that's one way. Also, we are very disciplined, Adore Me, as a company, with a semi-annual review process. So twice a year, we're going to sit down and have a formal conversation, besides the weekly/monthly touch bases, because we know communication is so very important. And so, during these formal processes, we're, celebrating what you've accomplished. We're talking about what the next 6 months look like, what you're thinking you want to do next, what an individual development plan. We can link all of that through YOOBIC, which is so great. And you can really be in control of your own growth and development, along with us, guiding as leaders. We also have a super cool mentor program where we can mentor a newer leader, a newer associate with someone who's, a veteran who's been with us for a while. We've done that. We have the Big Sister program. We have weekly team meetings where other teams can kind of be a guest speaker. So, I think staying creative and really keeping your teams engaged is a huge part of it, to continue learning and challenging them. I love to read. I love leadership books. Of course, yours is one of my favorites. I have some of my other favorites here. I love Strength Finders. I think
it's a classic.
It's a classic. Strength Finders. Of course, I have a great relationship with April, and she spent some time. So, I think for me, I'm always trying to find new content that I can create with my partners into a lesson, and we're centering around development, because everyone wants to keep learning. That's whether you're, development and growth isn't just, oh, I'm going to move to another store, or I'm going to open another store. There's other ways you can mentor, learn, and grow. When I take some time off, I'm having somebody kind of stretch into my role, and kind of take that opportunity to really, what will their handprint look like when they're the district director for a week. So, and I don't do that often. So no, I'm just kidding. So, I think, though. I know I have to reset, of course. But I think all of these micro learning opportunities lend themselves to the big picture. So, there's this, gone are the days where you bring your team in and you sit in a classroom and you say, okay, and training, those days aren't, people don't want to learn like that anymore. They don't want to sit with the manual. They want to, be able to pick up their phone and do cool modules that are interactive, and you can get a score, and are you at the top of the leaderboard with it? And, you're mentoring people and you're sharing back, and we had a key holder, mentor, another key holder who got promoted to an ASM, and they were, 10 states apart. But it's just creating these opportunities and seeing them. And it's really around engagement. How can you create opportunities for your teams to grow and learn and continue developing?
Mm-hmm. And what I love what you're describing, it is this menu of options. It's not everything you just described, which is incredible. Isn't everyone's going to participate at all? It is here are my teams. Here are all the different things I've learned, and here are multiple ways for you to engage and grow. And I absolutely agree with you. I think this kind of classroom, you have been trained, now you should be good at your job is not the way we think about training. It very much was. You and I have probably both taught a lot of training classes, but the idea here of, well, how do you want to learn? What is the best way for you to engage and develop? And I love the weekly, bi-weekly, just continued conversation of all of it too, of how do you engage. I wanted to jump to, because you're part of Victoria's Secret and part of their also kind of development and reinvention, that, Adore Me has been this brand that has welcomed all and been very inclusive in sizing and many other ways. How does that kind of show up in your leadership and in your teams?
I think that our teams are incredibly diverse, which I love. Our teams mirror our customers. We hire just the best candidate. We don't look at anything else besides that. And so we have these amazing melting pots in every store and in our company, and I think, you don't, I mean, we don't want a company full of Paulas. I think that would be too much for anyone, but, hiring complementary people is really special. And so, I think creating diverse teams helps with the inclusiveness. Anyone and everyone, has something to share and to contribute. I always talk about, what is your contribution? What do you want your contribution to be? And so I think all of that really lends itself to an inclusive environment. Super excited about what can be with Victoria's Secret. I had an amazing career there for 7 years, and I'm grateful for every second I got to learn and grow from amazing leaders there. So it's kind of come full circle that we're with them, and we're sister companies now. And I'm excited to see what will happen, and down the line. Right now, our immediate goal for Adore Me Retail is we got a slam dunk Q4 2023. That's it. It's Black Friday is 2 weeks away, believe it or not. And so it's a Super Bowl time just about. So we're, doing our laps around the field so that we can score big at the Super Bowl of retail. So we have some things in the horizon, but with the teams that we have put together right now, our immediate future is we want to crush Q4, and we want to make our contribution as Adore Me Retail powerful for Adore Me and Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, incredible. And you had referenced your career, but I want to go back because you started at Macy's, and had a long time there. But I think one of the gifts of specialty retail that you run is the fact that you can be so engaged with your teams. And in Herald Square, Macy's, that's not always available to leaders or many other Macy's stores. So not Macy's specifically, but how do you think about leadership and engaging with the way you do at scale? When you have 100 stores, which I have no doubt that you will, how will you continue this really special, like Paula magic at scale? Because I think that's a real test.
Oh, you're so nice. I think it's in my DNA. I think relationship building and continuing relationships is in my DNA, and they're not always easy. We don't we love recognition and obviously all the positivity. Sometimes there are other conversations that have to happen, and I think, when you start the conversation coming from a curious place and asking questions, you can get where you want to go without kind of coming in and demanding something. So I think as we scale, I don't want to lose, my Paula piece. I want to
Mhm.
continue to keep those relationships. I think I'll work harder, obviously, when we get bigger. But I think having good communication and having your teams share your vision. Everyone knows at the end of the day, what's the prize? What are we really, standing for? What are we proud of in our stores? And I can say when we do this great culture book. Look, I have all my books ready. Adore Me does a culture book every year. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. And it's almost like a yearbook. And it has, everybody's featured in there, leaders and great things that we've done. And so they ask you,
Oh,
what are you proud of? And every year, I'm so proud of the teams. I'm proud of the
yeah.
teams and the work that they do. And, constantly, coming with good ideas, their entrepreneurial spirit, and saying, hey, what if we try this? Hey, what if we try that? So I think having people share that vision will be able to spread the Paula magic at
Mhm.
scale as we grow more and more stores, which I can't wait for. But I think,
Mhm.
just staying genuine, being yourself. It's definitely no secret. I always say I have the best job in the company, and I believe I do. I love what I do for sure. It is truly a gift, and I'm grateful for it. I think, waking up with a grateful state of mind is very important, as much as an open mind and a positive mindset.
Mhm.
But, staying grateful. So I'll do whatever it takes to make
Amazing.
sure the culture's there in every store we open. I'm signing my name to that.
Incredible. And I believe you, and I will be watching, you know, no,
Mhm.
as you make your way down here to South Florida, for
Yes.
sure. I'll be spending time and learning and celebrating your success. While we have just a few minutes left, I wanted to just kind of ask you, as you have had this incredible field leadership career, and people are asking you for advice,
Mhm.
around how do they become you? What
Mhm.
are some things that you share with them?
I think that you really have to have strong passion. You have to love what you do. You have to say, I'm gonna make this happen. You have to when I go in every store visit that I've ever gone on, I walk in the store and I go, we're gonna have a great day. And that's my mindset. And I think that you can't be defeated. You can't, oh, the traffic isn't there. Oh, it's raining out. We're not gonna have customers. Those mindsets, they'll hold you back. They're going to weigh you down. The mindset to move forward and to become a district director and more in any field is really having that mindset, that vision, that energy. Get the sleep that you need at night. Get up and go for a walk if that's what you need, if that helps you stay grounded and reset. But have that mindset. I came into Adore Me and I said, I want this to be my legacy. I want Adore Me to be my legacy. And I've worked in great companies. I'm so blessed with my career. Macy's and Victoria's Secret, blessed beyond belief. But Adore Me, I'm trailblazing here with my teams, and I want this to be my last stop, and I want it to, continue on for a long, long time. But you have to have that spirit, that drive. You can't be defeated. You have to help your teams overcome the obstacles. You can't give them all the answers. You have to solicit the answers from them. And instead of saying, well, this is what I think, I tell my teams, WWPD, what would Paula do? Right. And so what do you think the answer should be? So, I think to continue on in your career, you have to be able to take risks. You have to be brave.
Yeah.
And you have to want to make it win. You have to want to win. You have to wake up and say, we're gonna have a great day today. We're gonna do the most business we've ever done at Adore Me Retail in 2023. And then you're gonna wake up in 2024 and you're gonna say that again. And
That's
that has
great.
to, I don't get a call from people to motivate me in the morning or inspire me. I'm inspired I think staying in a grateful heart keeps you inspired, and working with people to help inspire them. But all of that has to come from within. That has to be your DNA.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
want that. That has to be your drive. You have to say, I'll do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes to make my mark wherever you are.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's my mindset.
Wow. I mean, it's beautiful advice. I would say, what, and you had referenced April Sobral's book, Positive Effect, and kind of this mindset. And then you asked her to speak to your teams as well, like this idea of positive intent, positive thought processes are real. You show up and do that really well. I've had the same, experiences in my career of like, you're always in a good mood. And like, why not? Why our joy in retail is to share that with others and to make other people make strangers' days better or different, or like how we engage. And that's great. Retail is at its core exactly that, with a positive effect. So thank you for doing that and sharing that, because that's what the Frontline needs from you, and they're getting that. So it's been a joy to listen to you do that today. So thank you for spending time here with me.
Thank you so much.
And for being such a strong advocate for YOOBIC. Just, saying that, because you are, I know.
I love them.
And,
It's a great tool.
To learn even more. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today to Frontline Fridays. We're going to do this again next week as we get closer to the holiday season with another incredible guest next Friday on the show. So until then, happy holidays, and we'll see you next Friday. Thank you. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you, Ron, so much. Thank you, YOOBIC, and everyone. Thank you.